us. Welcome. Welcome to this holiday workshop. I'm excited to be taking you through this workshop. And the fact that you're here tells me that you are a go-getter. It tells me your health is important to you. It tells me the holidays are also important to you. And the reason why you may be here is because you just don't want to gain weight over the holidays. I'm very excited to have you here. I'm Coach Roseanne. For those of you that do not know me, I'm going to be sharing my story in a little bit. My background is psychology, and I help women, busy women, lose weight without dieting so that they can create and live a healthy and a sustainable lifestyle. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing this workshop today, by the way, please make sure you have your pen and a paper ready because it's going to be quite interactive, and I'm going to be taking you through some steps that you're going to be doing. So I hope you have that ready with you. But the reason we're going to be doing this is for several reasons. Number one, if you are juggling school, you're juggling your career, your kids, your family, and maybe you're not able to focus sometimes on your own aspirations, then this is exactly where you need to be. If your health and wellness is important and is a priority for you, and you want to continue to take care of yourself over the holiday seasons, maybe you've done some work during the year and you're still thinking, oh, there's a level of anxiety, and you're saying, oh my goodness, when the holidays come, I tend to just go overboard and I tend to gain all that weight. Then you are also in the right place because I'm going to be taking and I'm going to be showing you what are the things that you should be doing. If you also want clarity on how to navigate this holiday season so that you do not gain any weight, you too are in the right place. And I'm very excited to be taking you through this class today. Again, it's going to be very interactive. It's going to be a class where I want you to take notes, and because you're here and because this is free, don't consider or don't say, well, it's free, so it wouldn't matter, or it's free, so I'm not going to do all that stuff, or it's free, so there's no value. We've put in so much hard work behind the scenes to help make sure that we bring you value. So don't take it for granted so that you can actually do the work. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of things that you're going to learn today. Number one, you're going to learn how to plan your holiday season. The second thing you're going to learn is the mindset that is needed to conquer anxiety around food, around the holidays, and around your weight, which a lot of people tend to worry around the holiday season. Number three, I'll give you some nutritional guidelines that you can begin to use or you're going to incorporate around the holiday season. I'm also going to show you movements that you can incorporate around the holiday season. Now, we're here for just a week, not a week. We're here for just 1 hour. 1 hour. And obviously, I cannot cover everything in depth within that 1 hour. And so I am going to be going deeper. And if you want to go deeper, then I'm going to invite you in the end to join and do what is called a Fitmas challenge. And so if this is okay with you and you say, yes, okay, this is something that I want to learn, then you can let me know, we can move ahead. But in the end, I will be inviting you to go deeper into our Fitmas challenge, and I'll be sharing more details as we move along. So first, let me just share a little bit about you, about myself. For those that may not know me, maybe this is the first time you're seeing me, hearing my story. I just want to share a little bit of background so that you can understand why I'm here and what I do. 15 plus years ago, I had not only gained weight, but I was going through a season of confusion. Not sure what I was going to be doing in my life, had gained a lot of weight. The doctors had said, not only had I gained weight, not only were my knees aching, but I actually had medical obesity. So the doctors said, okay, Roseanne, you have medical obesity. But on top of that, the biggest wake-up call was the fact that I had high cholesterol at 29 years old. Now, that was 15 years ago. You can imagine as a young girl being so confused and worrying and wondering, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'm just beginning a family, my husband and I. I just felt like I was in a state of confusion. Then I got into, I started working on myself and I started changing my body and I got clarity and I started taking action. And the things I'm going to be sharing today are things that I did and I continue to do around the holiday seasons because I want you to understand and know and apply the things that I'm going to be sharing. Then about 7 years ago, transitioned, we moved back to Kenya, and I've continued to help women lose weight without dieting. I started doing this when I was in Boston, Massachusetts. I worked on myself, worked on my weight, and now moving back to Kenya, I started doing this where even 5 years ago, my business was not going as well as I needed to, but I plugged on and I figured what to do. And so for me, when I consider health and wellness, and when I consider why I do what I do, I consider this because I go back to the past. When I think about the knees that were hurting, when I consider about the excess weight that I had, when I consider how I was so uncomfortable even in my own skin, hating the body that I was looking at, when I consider the low energy that I had, when I consider that even climbing upstairs was such a drag and it was so difficult, when I consider that I used to eat my emotions, when I get upset and triggered, especially when my kids were young, because this is the time when my kids were very young, just noticing how my moods were all over, being just moods up and down. And that visit to the from the doctors was my biggest wake-up call. And with that wake-up call, I've continued to cultivate discipline, resilience, to drive deep, to work on myself, because I cannot be coming to work on you and to be helping clients, but I'm not working on myself, or I'm not living up to the standard that I should be asking and requiring of you. And so for me, it's cultivating that discipline, that resilience, the drive, and my God-given desire truly to be able to help women like you. And that's exactly what we're going to be going on through today. And it's out of all that journey, my gaining of the weight, my losing the weight, the transitions I've gone through, that I gained clarity in my life and in my calling to help women like you, successful women like you, gain clarity for your own life. And especially now that we're moving into a holiday season, which a lot of women tend to be anxious about. I was like, you know what? Even this is something that I want to be able to continue to help you. And for me, why do I do this? Simply, my health and wellness. It's important to me. I want to always keep my cholesterol low, and I want us to have an ideal body, because I do recognize obesity is something that carries with it a lot of lifestyle diseases. High cholesterol being one of them, diabetes being another, strokes being another. And the thing with these diseases is we don't see them immediately. They come later on. And so even as we're doing this class today, it's a whole aspect of cultivating discipline and understanding what are the things I need to do? What are the things you need to do to help you along this journey? And so we're going to be getting started. And I want you to understand a couple of things. Number one, there are some common challenges that contribute to weight gain around the holiday season. Now, these could be things like, one, overeating. How many of you are willing to say, yep, that's me. I tend to overeat during the holidays. And look, there's an overabundance of food and treats which can lead to overeating, right? Think about your office parties. Think about the birthday parties also infused with the holiday parties. Think about Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Think about the goodbye parties. Think about the parties and the cakes that are brought on in the office from people who are coming to say thank you to you for all the work that you have done, right? So there's that overeating because there's an overabundance of food throughout the holiday season. Another reason, a common challenge and a mistake, or something that just happens around the holiday season, is emotional eating, where there's just an element of either stress that's going on at work. Maybe you have deadlines, you got to finish some work before you close for the holidays. Maybe there's stress because your boss has actually said, no, you got to stay over the holidays, you got to finish this deadline. For some people, there's heightened loneliness, heightened emotions during the holidays. Maybe you have some sad memories attached to the holidays. And so for you, maybe also, this might not be the best season for you. And when you see everybody happy, for you, it doesn't bring all that joy into your heart. And so it feels like, you know what, since I don't feel so good, I might end up emotional eating. There's also the disruption of routines. And when these routines are disrupted, guess what happens? Your schedules get disrupted, right? And if your schedule gets disrupted, for a lot of people, the holidays, it looks like one of those where people are like, you know what? Listen, I'm on holiday. I'm just going to go chill. I ain't going to do much. There's no much activity. So there's an element of sedentary activity that happens, isn't it? And so I want you to be cognizant of that. I also want you to recognize there's social pressures and expectations to indulge over the holidays. And when you have these expectations and all these social pressures, what happens? You may give in to the social pressures. And this is where I want to cue in Aunt Polly. I always like to I have different personalities. If you've been in my orbit or been following me for a little bit, you're going to hear me throw out all different names depending on, where you are of the season of your life you're in. I always say, so who's Aunt Polly, you might be asking? Aunt Polly is very pushy. Aunt Polly is the woman who comes in and she's always noticing, she's the auntie who has the latest gossip. She's the auntie who has the latest information. She's the auntie who comments on your weight. She's the auntie who comments on everybody's relationship. You know that auntie, okay? So it's Auntie Polly because she's very pushy. So Auntie Polly is someone who I say can bring in a lot of pressure. And if you're not cognizant about the Auntie Pollys in your life, then this can be a challenge for you. In fact, I was telling my aunt the other day, we'd gone to her house and I experienced an Aunt Polly. So I put food on my plate and she was like, I know, and my plate by the way was full. And then she asked me, where's your food? I was like, excuse me, what do you mean? Where is my food? Because to her, the plate needed to be packed. You know, the rice, the watermelon, the chapo, the whatnot. I was like, yo, man. Okay. So I experienced my Auntie Polly. So just begin to notice social pressures. It could be even someone in your office, right? Auntie Polly or Uncle Paul. You just never know. It's the people who put pressure on you. Then another challenge that I've seen experienced, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is limited movement of physical activities. Now, for those of you that may be abroad or in different countries, right now it's you're moving into the cold season. And in the cold season, what happens is you're not moving out a lot. And so for you, you could be sitting down too much. Or right now in Nairobi, it's actually raining. We're going through the rainy seasons. They actually started a little bit later. I don't know if they're going to go into the December, but this season, we're moving into Thanksgiving. Actually, this week is Thanksgiving. And so for like today, I was supposed to go for my evening walk because today I coach my one-on-one clients. And usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, my walks tend to be more in the evening. Or if I have a gap, I'll do my walks during the day. But it's been raining in and out, so I didn't get to do my walk today. So these are the things that I want you to notice about things that can happen to you. Then there is the mindless eating. This is the mindless snacking during social events. Maybe you're watching movies. Maybe you're hanging out with your friends and all you're doing every meetup is a time to eat. And so before you know it, if you're meeting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with your friends over the holiday season, and all you're doing is mindless eating, you might find yourself gaining all that weight. And then, you could have some lack of support. And this lack of support can lead you to have an element where there's limited support and lack of accountability for you to maintain these healthy habits during the holiday season. And this can make it difficult for you to stay on track. So I want you to notice all the challenges that you could be going through. And the reason why this is important, if you guys know, I told you my background in psychology. I'm always so cognizant. You first must become aware. Become very aware of what are the issues you are dealing with. Because the more aware you are about those issues, the more it's easier for you to focus and to do what needs to get done, right? Like it just makes perfect sense. So you're not going through things blindly and you're not making choices blindly. Does this make sense, guys? Let me know in the chat box. Is this making any sense whatsoever? Let me go to the chat box. Is this making sense, ladies? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to move right along. Now, the first thing we're going to do is when we are working on your holiday, is there has to be, I always like to focus on your mind. So we're going to focus on your mindset. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to plan it. What are we planning? You're planning your holidays. You're planning the things that you're going to be doing. So you're planning your holidays. So that's one. You're planning your holidays. The first question you want to ask yourself is, why do you want to do this? That's the first question you want to ask is, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to plan for the holidays? Why do you not want to gain weight over the holidays? Ask yourself that question. Why do you want to do this? And for those of you who are on Instagram, you can join us on Zoom and you can follow through the PowerPoint presentation. Why do you want to do this? So you got to be clear. That's one. Second, what would make it successful? If at the end of the holiday season, you achieve XYZ, what does that look like for you? So I want you to answer that question. What would make it successful? So question one, why do you want to do this? Question two, be clear on what would make it successful. So for you, success would look like XYZ. So that has to be very clear. Number three, it has to be something you're going to do. You're going to move at a doable pace. So we're not comparing each other. We're not moving at each other's pace. Each one of us is moving at our own pace because we're in all different seasons of our lives. We're all moving and we're at different stages of our lives. So you must allow yourself to move at your own pace. And so that means if you whatever it is that you're going to be doing, you're not comparing your journey with anyone else, and you are moving at a doable pace. That's number 3. Number 4, you're going to list out all the things, experiences, friends, family you want to do and hang around with. So if it's friends, so now coming for the holiday season, now this is, remember, what are we doing? We're planning it. We're planning. So you ask yourself, okay, which friends am I going to be hanging out with? That's the first question. Which friends will I hang out with? Second question, okay, once you write all the friends you're going to be hanging out with, then you're going to go, okay, which family members am I going to be hanging out with over this holiday season? So you're going to write out which family members you're going to be hanging out with. Then you're going to ask yourself, okay, what experiences do I actually want to encounter? What are the experiences I want to go through? What are the experiences I want me and my family to enjoy this season? And I'll give you examples, because I'll give you examples of my own life, because this is what has helped me, and it just becomes so much easier for me to take that, share that with you. What are the things you want to do? What are the things you want to do? Now, when you do it this way, it helps you map out and you're planning. So then what also you want to do is you want to write everything that comes to your head. Just write it all down. Because once you write it down, we're not saying you're going to do all of them, but at least you have removed them from your head and you've put them in paper, so that when we move to the next step, you're going to be asking yourself, okay, which one of these can I do? Now, I'll give you an example. Some of the things that we do around the holiday season is watch family movies. So we like to watch Christmas movies together, usually Friday evenings. Donate to charity. We've identified there's 2 orphanages. Actually, one is a school that we donate goods to. The other one is an orphanage that my girls bake. So donations means, like last year, we took Christmas to them. So we actually will cook food, and then we're going to go and serve and eat Christmas with them. If it's to the orphanage, my girls will bake. They're going to go there. They're going to take them juices, because now for the girls, they're younger kids. They're going to bathe them. They're going to stay with their younger kids, whatever is needed. So those are the things that we specifically do around this holiday season, so that we're bringing share elsewhere. We also, like now, one of the things we're going to do is hang the tree. That actually tree is supposed to be coming up next week. That's my daughter's job. So we write all this down. Hang the tree, remove the tree from storage, bake cookies on that night. Who's going to be baking? What foods are we going to be cooking? Because all these things, by the way, they take money. And if it costs money, guess what? It has to be planned, because guess what? We need to know whether we're going to be able to manage all this. Does this make sense? So you're not just doing things out of the, because, okay, I want to just do it because I want to do it. Things cost money, they cost time. So you want to see, do you have the time? Do you have the money to be able to do this, right? Then spending time with family. You want to be clear. Who are you spending time with? When are you going to travel? If you're traveling, how far are you going? How many days will you be traveling? Are you driving? If you're driving, how much gas is that going to cost you? So we're breaking it down, we're whittling it down, because we want it to be manageable, and I want this to be something you can be able to do. You know, Christmas carol, go carol singing. There's a friend of mine who loves singing. She invited us last year. Now, I don't particularly enjoy it, but she loves it, and I love to hang out with my friends. So I'm considering, so that's when I'm like, I come with an asterisk. I'm considering whether I'll go this time around, right? So those are the things that I'm saying that I want you to write things down. And then the biggest of all is to have fun. I mean, there's nothing more than you just decide, I am going to have fun. I am going to move my body, because the holiday season is all about the holiday. I know I'm talking about all these things, but all this does, and I know it seems like a lot, but I promise you it's really not much once you whittle it down. But what it is once you go in with a plan, it becomes so much easier for you to be able now to map it, which is the next stage. So mapping it. Now, for you who are on Instagram, just send me the word mindset. I will, the word workshop, not mindset, workshop. I will send you a link and you can join us and you can follow through with the slides that we're watching right now. So the next one is the mindset tip is, how do you map this? So first, we're going to address stress management techniques to mitigate emotional eating during the holidays. Now, the holiday seasons can be a very emotionally destabilizing time for a lot of people. You guys, I don't know if you know, but in 2019, that's when my dad got a stroke. And I remember that season, it always brings, like, I just feel, some type of way. He got better. He's better. He's so much better now. But for me, there was that association. And I've really been trying to always connect Christmas and this season with a season of joy and love. In fact, there's a picture I posted on social, and it was such a beautiful picture. Like, it came out really nicely. But I remember when I took that picture, I had just come from the hospital and I had cried my all. You know how when you cry all? But then when I reached the house, someone said, "Oh, let's take a picture." And there I am smiling. And, I was like, oh my goodness. So whenever I see that picture, I love the picture, but it also reminds me of that season. Now, what I want you to do is I want our team's going to put the link here. If you do not know what your weight loss persona is, there's a quiz that we created, and it's a great quiz for you to take to identify your weight loss persona. Again, this identifying of and knowing who you are is going to help you be able to mitigate yourself, mitigate your emotions, so that when you notice all these things happening during the holiday season, you kind of will know where that's coming from. You have an awareness. So if you can, Sharon or Dorcas or Eric, just kindly share the link with the ladies. And ladies, I would love for you to take that quiz. You can take it later, not now, but it's going, like, copy it and paste it on your browser. It's going to help you understand your weight loss persona. So take that quiz. It's one we created maybe sometime last year, that I believe is going to help you. Secondly, focus on self-compassion rather than being perfect. Now, it's important to understand, as you're mapping these things out and as you're planning these things out, to understand that there will be occasional indulgences. But that does not mean that it has negated your overall process. So even as you're considering, as you're mapping out the holiday season, I want you to focus on things do not have to be perfect. The world is not perfect. We're not perfect. Nothing is perfect, y'all. And so do not put that pressure on yourself where you're going to expect things to be perfect, because nobody is. So don't expect that even when you are working on yourself and you're working on not getting rid over the holiday season, that things will be perfect. No, they will not. And what this does, what I'm telling you, is give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to know ahead of time there's going to be occasional indulgences, to know ahead of time things are not going to be perfect, to know ahead of time even whatever you have mapped, it's not necessarily going to have to work out perfectly. Give yourself that permission to say, you know what, yeah, okay, Amanda, it's gone, all right? So just give yourself permission. Then number 3, as you're mapping things out, I want you to be flexible in your approach. And flexibility in your approach means you're allowing yourself to enjoy everything in moderation. You're enjoying holiday foods in moderation. Now, one of the things, I teach strongly inside Hey Sugar, our nutrition program, is I teach about balance and moderation. I teach about moderation, and I want that to also carry over into the holiday season. That just means you're mindful as you're eating your food. You're savoring your meals. You're enjoying, you're eating slowly. You're paying attention to your hungerness and your fullness cues. Because what this does is it prevents you overindulging, and it promotes a healthy relationship with food. And so I don't want you to go strict, and I don't want you to say we're not eating XYZ or we're not doing XYZ. No, allow for moderation. It's going to help you. The next point, number 5, is I want you to have a long-term perspective. I always like to give this analogy. How many of you save money at the bank, or you have an investment somewhere, or you're saving money to do something in the future? Once you start saving, you don't expect a return the next day, right? You don't expect a return the next day. And this is the same principle that I want you to apply in your wellness, that you're going to have a long-term perspective, to realize that if you overeat one time, that does not negate the experience that you've gone through, does not negate all the work that you have done. Investors put in the money in a bank, and they expect that money to grow incrementally over time. The same thing, if this is, say, going to be the first time that you're going to be doing this, don't expect change overnight. Don't expect things to turn overnight. Give yourself grace. But as you're applying the strategies you're applying, you're having that long-term perspective, that long-term thinking, and knowing, yes, It's going to help me at least stay where I am. I'm not going to gain that weight. If you typically gain 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds or 3, 4, 5 kilos over the holiday season, this time around, you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, last Christmas, I gained 3 kilos. At the end of this season, because you will apply what we're teaching and I'm helping you understand, you'll be like, at the end of the season, like, my goodness, I did not gain weight. And guess what? That's a win. I don't want you to come and say, oh, I was expecting to lose 10 kilos, so that did not win. No, honey, that's a win. Not gaining excess weight is a win. And I want you to see it as such, okay? And then I want you to, instead of focusing on your weight, instead of focusing on that end goal, I want you to focus on the other activities that you could be doing on a day-to-day basis. We're going to go much more in depth in the nutrition and the and movement. So you're focusing on activities that will help you long-term, and activities that you can sustain, and activities that you can carry over, so that after the holidays are over, you're going to be able to carry them into the next season. So in January, in February, you'll have this momentum going for you, so that come January, it's not when you're starting all over again. Does this make sense? So I really want you to take this seriously, and I want you to take your wellness seriously, and I want you to take planning of these things seriously, because the more serious you are, the more you apply that discipline and you put in these habits, the more you are going to become successful. So pillar number 1 is movement. Move it. So we mapped it, we planned it, now we're moving it. Move your body. Now, since we all have a myriad of responsibilities, I want to share some practical action steps that you can incorporate to help you move your body more throughout the holiday season. Who's ready for that? Who's ready? Since you're ready for this, are you ready for it? Okay, let's go. What are some practical things that you can begin to apply over the holiday seasons to help you move your body more? And also, let me just ask, why is moving your body important? When you think about it, when you think about why movement is important, and I'm very careful to use the word movement, not exercise. When we talk about movement, we're talking about you moving your body because our bodies were created to move. Our bodies weren't meant to move. And so what we are doing is we're cutting down our life shorter by not moving our bodies. It's that simple. A lot of us are losing a lot of lean muscle mass because we're sitting down on our gluteus muscles the whole day. In fact, studies have said and have shown that if you move your body more, if you're not moving your body, it's equivalent to someone who sits down and smokes a cigarette, or it's equivalent to someone who smokes a cigarette. Meaning, sitting down consistently and not moving your body is actually considered a precursor for disease. So I want us to move our bodies more. So are we ready for these movement tips that we're going to be sharing? Okay, for those of you who are on Instagram, you want to follow the link, you want to follow the slides we have on Zoom, come on, join us and send me the word workshop. Send me the word workshop. I will send you the link and you can join us on Zoom immediately. So number 1, I want you to incorporate micro movements, tiny movements, okay? Now remember, some of you are busy students, corporate women, you have little kids. Ask that. DM me, Juju. DM. Go into my DM. Go into the DM workshop. Sharon, maybe you can hop on, and there's some people who are sending the word on Instagram workshop, and you can share the link with them. So micro movements, you want to break down your day into smaller chunks. And how you do this is you break it down into, say, 10 minutes a day. So 30, you can say, today, 30 minutes is when I'm available to work. Blessed Mitty, hey girl, DM me. Go to my DM, guys. Go to the DM. You're going to get it there automatically. So if you say you have 30 minutes and you look at your day and you're like, oh, morning, I don't have 30 minutes, but I have 10 minutes. You can say, okay, I'll go for a 10-minute walk. Then at lunchtime, I'm going to do another 10-minute walk. Then in the evening, another 10-minute walk. Just notice how those micro moments and micro workouts add up throughout the day. So I don't want you to have this mindset of, oh my God, I have so much to do, or oh my goodness, 30 minutes, I don't have 30 minutes. Listen, all you need is 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, 10 minutes. Maybe when the kids go to sleep, add those 10 minutes here and there, okay? That's one. Secondly, I want you to involve your family as much as possible. Whether that's going for walks, whether that is swimming, some enjoyable experience, you're walking, you take your bike riding, whatever that is, hiking, We all love different activities. So I'll tell you one thing that we do consistently. When we go for Christmas, New Year's Eve, we like meet the whole family. One of the things that we do is after the meals, we always go down to the river and then we climb back up. Simple. It takes us about half an hour, but it's such a fun activity when the whole family is together and you're doing something fun. So they even know, Shiko, hey, it's time for us to go for a walk. And we all go down to the garden and up again the valley. And it's just so much fun. So look for something that you would love to do with as a family. Consider incorporating at-home workouts. So you can get your favorite YouTuber and work out and just get moving. Get going, whether that is yoga, whether that is Zumba, whether that is Pilates, anything that you're gonna get that just speaks to you, do that. I also want you to consider incorporating, this is number 4, the daily tasks. When we're talking about daily tasks, we're talking about things like taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator. In fact, that should be something that you do. Let me tell you, there's a movie we watched many months ago with my husband. And this movie was set in the olden times, like in the 1800s, you know, the old era. And this movie had this 70-year-old lawyer climbing up and down the stairs. And it was all the way to like the 11th floor. And he was just climbing up the stairs. And I remember thinking, yeah, at 70, at 80, at 90, I want to be able to be climbing up the stairs. But that just doesn't happen overnight. We've got to begin to train ourselves now. And so if you work in an office that has, you may be on the 9th floor, seriously, just start taking the stairs. Over time, initially it's hard, but your body gets used to it. Your muscles will get used to it. If you go to the bathroom, do some squats. I'm always telling my team, you guys, when you go to the bathroom, do 10 squats. That's it. 10 squats. So if you go to the bathroom five times, how many squats are those in a day? 50 squats. If you're cooking, you're on the kitchen, just do some countertop push-ups. Anything you can do. Maybe you're taking your talk, you are picking up phone calls in your office. Can you stand up and just pace up and down? These things add up. So don't take them for granted. I want you to schedule exercises, number 5. Block time, make it a non-negotiable. Like, this is what I will do. You could also have challenges within a team. Like you can have a team where you guys are saying, you know what, this is what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working with my colleagues, with friends, accountability partners, sisters, anything that's going to help you. In fact, there's a team that we have inside Hey Sugar. These are the momentum. And one of the things they're holding each other accountable on is they're holding each other accountable this season on their meals. And so if you're a Hey Sugar alumni, you might want to get your team to get yourselves going and say, can we begin to hold each other accountable? Okay. Next, we're going to go to nutrition. Is this helpful, guys? Is this making sense? Is this making sense? All right, we're going to apply it. So we've planned it, we have mapped it, we're moving it. Now we are applying it when it comes to your nutrition. Number 1, you're going to eat a balanced diet. A balanced diet means you have your macros, protein, fat, and carbohydrates in your meals. That's a balanced diet. So I'm always talking about eat in balance. That's what it is. 2, ensure you're hydrating enough. Know how much water you should be drinking. Let me give you, right now, all of us grab a calculator. How much water should you be drinking? And in fact, on that note, I should drink mine as you're calculating. So how much water should you be drinking? So I want you to grab your weight, divide your weight in kilos. Take your weight in kilos, divide by 30. Take your weight in kilos, divide by 30. That's how much water you should be drinking. So let me go to the chat box, and even you on Instagram. So how much water are you drinking in liters? How much water is that you're drinking in liters? Take your weight in kilos, divide by 30. Divide by 30. And that's the amount of water you should be drinking every day. Very personalized. How much weight is that? In fact, let me go to my chat box. Ladies, come, let me know how much water is that. Okay, I see 2 liters. Thank you. I see 2.7. Mwende, I see 2.3. Irene, Maureen, I see 2.7. Asia, 2.3. Hey, Asia. Irene, 2.3. Who else? Gloria, 3.2. Mwendwa, 2 liters. Good job. 2.1 Miriam, Fantastic. So that's how much water you should be drinking. So I want each one of us to, again, get to understand how much water is that I should be drinking every day. And especially over the holiday season, one of the things that you might notice is during nutrition, and it's at the bottom, is you might want to be aware of liquid calories that are very empty calories. That comes especially from alcohol, from sugary drinks. And we might find ourselves drinking a lot of that. Pro tip, pro tip, pro tip. There's going to be a lot of buffets happening. Okay, ladies, there's going to be a lot of buffets. I want you to go and watch what happens during buffets. What do they give for free? Let me see if anybody knows this. There's something that they give you for free. And it's linked to what I just said. Anybody on Instagram and or on Zoom, let me know, do you know what that is that they give us for free when we go to buffets? What is that they give us when we go to buffets? Somebody. Soda. Good. What else? Yeah, you're good. They give you soda for free. What else do they give you? For free. They just give you something for free. They're like, keep coming, especially targeted to kids. Yeah, Nilias, you got it. Juices. So they give you juices for free. Yeah, soft drinks. Yeah, and someone on Instagram said soft drinks. You're right. That's exactly what happens. They mostly will give you those for free. Why? For several reasons. Number one, they're very high in sugar. And whatever they're made with, they also have some form of sodium. Now, what that does automatically makes you thirst for more of it. And guess what now they do, you guys? Is we now then have to pay for water. So you go to a hotel, the thing that's going to quench your thirst, the thing that's going to make you fuller longer, they're not going to give that for free. You have to buy. And you know, especially when you go to hotels, water is not cheap, right? Depending on where you go. But the juices and the sodas, soft drinks, they actually say bottomless. That's a trip, y'all. What that does is not only do you become thirsty, but you actually find yourself eating more of the salty, sugary foods that they put out there. I need you to be aware. That's a marketing gimmick that's out there. And if you're not aware, you will find yourself and your children trapped going for those soft drinks. There's nothing soft about them. And you find yourself just overeating and drinking, and you're wondering, why am I not quenching my thirst? But water, you will find that you're going to be able to drink a liter or even half a liter, like juggle it down, and you'll be fine. But when you do that with soda, you'll just feel like it's just asking for more thirst. So I want you to recognize that. So this holiday season, that's like where the empty calories will come in, because you might find yourself just drinking too much soda, too much juices, too many soft drinks. There's nothing soft about them also, you guys, because they harden our arteries. Like, these are the things I'm always so upset when I see them saying, oh, soft drinks. Ain't nothing soft about them, guys. Nothing soft about them. Okay. Then before you go out to the holidays, my cousin, I have a cousin, rest in peace. One of the things she always used to say is, me, when I'm going somewhere, I don't eat. So that when I get there, I eat everything. And she always used to complain about her weight. And she's like, I only eat one meal. I don't eat much. I don't eat. I'm like, girl, you got the wrong approach. And if any of you, because I used to be this way many, many years ago, where it's like you're going to a function and a party, and so you're not eating because there's going to be food over there. I'm going to go eat and I'll eat everything. But that's the wrong approach. Because what happens is, not only are you going to mess up your hunger hormones, we go much more in depth inside Hey Sugar when I teach that. But typically what happens is, you're going to eat more of the wrong foods because you're already so hungry. Your brain cues kick in and they're like asking, what are we going to eat now? We need some energy giving foods. And guess what you're going to eat? You're going to eat sugary foods. You're going to eat the cakes, the cookies, the high calorie foods. And then you're wondering, why am I not losing weight? Because you're eating a lot of more high calorie foods that are very, very low in nutrients. And if you keep eating these foods, that's when at the end of the holiday season, you'll be like, yo, what just happened to me? I gained all this weight. So eat before you go out. Don't wait to be hungry to eat. For instance, you can say, I'm going to have a banana, I'm going to have some nuts, I'm going to have a salad, I'm going to have a shake, I'll have nuts, anything. So have any of those to help it to make you work. Snack in a smart way. It's called smart snacking. Just smart snacking. So you're not indulging, you're not overeating foods, you're not in cake. Look for healthy food. So you're eating more of the fruits, the vegetables, you're eating more of your nuts. So you're eating healthy foods. Avoid mindless eating. I think we talked a lot more about that. Make sure you eat your fruits and your vegetables. Make sure you incorporate in some form of protein. Limit your liquid calories. Watch your portions. Just be mindful about your portions. And then always look for healthy alternatives. For example, instead of deep frying potatoes or deep frying chicken, can you air fry? Can you bake? Can you saute? Can you do other things so that you are not overeating and you're not just eating to eat? So you got to be much more mindful about this. Is this helpful? So we've done the planning, we've done the mapping, we've applied, we are moving. And next is I want to talk about how I don't want you to compare. Don't waste your time comparing yourself with other people. Your success is within your own timeline. Your success is your own timeline. Thank you, girl. And so you cannot compare your cake with anyone else's. You cannot compare yourself with another person's journey. You cannot compare your progress with another person's, because comparison is the thief to your own success. What you gotta do is you must compare yourself to yourself. Are you better today than you were yesterday? And if the answer is yes, check that off. If the answer is no, what are you going to do to help yourself become better? Remember what I said at the beginning, be very clear. What are the things that you're going to be doing? Be clear on your why, because that's what's going to help you as you move forward. You must work on you and your own growth. This is not about somebody else. If you, especially for us women, you know, and I work with a lot of high-powered women, and I work with a lot of women who are go-getters. Like I work with all of you, and I know and I understand how we've been raised and how we've been raised to please other people and put other people's needs in front of ourselves. But that's what causes us to struggle when we are beginning to grow, growing within our careers, growing within our companies, and growing within ourselves. And so you must work on you and on your own growth. This is not about anybody else. You must put yourself front and center. Once you do that, you show up so much powerfully to everybody else. You show up so much better to the world, whether it's as a mom, whether it's as a wife, whether it's as a friend, whether it's as a daughter, whether it's as a granddaughter. You just show up so much better when you take care of you. And so don't compare yourself and don't compare your journey with anybody else. And I want you not only to just celebrate yourself, but also learn to celebrate other people's successes. You know, when you see a woman doing well, learn and have this spirit of just saying, good job, girl. I see you. I notice you. I would love for us to have that culture where we lift other women up and we celebrate them. So if you see somebody and you can see they're making some amazing strides, just let them know. In fact, I have this habit where if I see somebody, whatever thought drops in my head in that moment, it must come out. I might see someone and the thought, especially when I go for walks, just random people. I'll be like, say hello to that one. I'll be like, habari yako, or how are you? I will just say whatever. If I see somebody and I love their dress, I will say, goodness, that's a pretty dress you have on today. If I see somebody and their hair looks beautiful, like it's well done, I'm like, girl, I like your hair. You know, so learn. Whatever you see and think about other people, learn to speak it out. Spread that love. So learn to celebrate. And so there's a couple of questions I want you to ask yourself as you're moving on this journey. 1, are you clear on your why? 2, do you know what you're going to focus on? Remember, we asked these questions in the beginning. 3, what do you need to do to get you to the goal of not gaining weight throughout these holiday seasons? What are the steps that you're going to be taking? Write that down. And then I want you to ask yourself, as you're writing this down, because for me, when I think about our bodies are not just our body, but it's a temple. It's a reflection of who you are and who you want to be. And so you must live in a healthy and a sustainable way. You must live in a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable, so that even your body, your temple, is a reflection of who you want to become. So just ask yourself, am I living as a reflection of the person I want to become? Am I treating this body as the temple that it should be? Am I doing what needs to get done? Then I want to caution you, do not use fear as your advisor, because fear is always going to be your worst advisor. Our brains naturally, we want to be clear. We want certainty. We want to know for sure that if I do these steps that Roseanne is telling me, I will not gain weight. We want to be sure, but there's no such thing as certainty in your transformation. There's no such thing. And so the key is this thing that is certain is the thing that you're going to work on. What is certain is the steps that you're going to take. What is certain is the determination, the discipline that you're going to put behind the mapping, the action taking, the doing that you're going to be doing. That is certain. And for sure, if you do that, you're going to be working from a place of faith versus working from a place of fear. Because our brains will naturally always want to avert us from doing something it has never done before, something that's new, because if we're doing something that we've never done before, it always sees that as something to be afraid of, as something to be scared of. But I want us to come from a place of faith. And how do you know whether you have faith? You're planning, you're putting in action, you're applying, you're moving, you're doing all these things that we've talked about, and you're just showing up every day. Your work is to show up every day. And then you're going to watch for the results show up, because they do show up in the end. So the question I have for you is, are you willing to commit to yourself and to commit to your goals no matter what? Are you saying, yes, I'm going to say yes to myself? If that's you, we're going to do a quick recap. Number one, what have we learned today? One, how to plan your holiday season. Number two, we've gone in depth on the mindset needed to conquer anxiety around food and our weight gain around the holiday season. I hope that's been very clear. I've given you some nutritional guidelines that you can work on. I've also given you some movements and talked about why it's important for you to move your body. And because obviously I can't go in depth with all this, I would love to invite you to go deeper. If you want to go deeper, I want to invite you to a 21-day challenge, a 3-week challenge, which is the FitMass challenge. This challenge we've been doing since 2020. And this challenge is a 21-day where you're going to be doing very specific things and specific steps that you're going to take in your nutrition. You're going to continue to map this out more. That is going to help you around the holiday season. It's going to give you a plan to navigate the holiday season without gaining weight for 3 whole weeks. You're going to have expert guidance from me. We're going to have you work on workouts that are there, which are literally less than 20 minutes of working out. There's going to be interactive learning with your peers. It's going to be very holistic. You know, I'm all about that holistic approach where, yes, we're focusing on the mind, we're focusing on nutrition, we're focusing on movement, but we're also focusing on managing stress. We're also focusing on self-care. So we're going to go in depth and we're going to work on helping you establish these long-term habits. Now, this class is worth 29,700 shillings. However, we are going on Black Friday. Listen, my team came up and they're like, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to go this, and for Black Friday, through this Friday, we are giving it to you guys for 1,000 bob. I know this is the first time we are doing this for just 1,000 bob or for $10. That is going to be your investment. And in those 3 weeks, you are going to get all that information. But hold on, y'all, because these guys are crazy in a good way. Look what else we're going to be throwing in there. There's going to be an entire weight loss course that's worth over 2,000 that's in there. There's going to be an eating out guide that's included there. How to eat for weight loss. What are the things to do? We're going to be adding 21 days of movement in there. And you must sign up by the November 24th so that you can get this deal. However, to be able to get these bonuses, you must sign up by tomorrow, Wednesday by midnight, so that we can get the extra bonuses for just 1,000 bob, y'all. Okay, so the team is going to share a link there. If you have any questions, oh, look at my time. I am so proud of myself. I have done it in such good time. If you have any questions, now I'm going to come on here, stop sharing my screen. And if anybody has any questions, I am here for all your questions. Did I give you the things I said I would give you? The steps I said I would give you? The nutrition I said I would give you? Did you see value in that training? Please do let me know. Let me know. Let me know. When is the challenge starting? The challenge will start as soon as you get your payment. So as soon as you get paid, that's when it will start. And so the team, if you can share that link, that would be awesome. And what is great about this challenge is, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and I just lost that thought. I just lost that thought. Have you ever got to start to say something and then you just lose the thought? You are welcome, Wendwa. It's mind-blowing. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Please give some tips on how to identify real hunger. It's very simple. You will know whether you're real hungry if your stomach is growling, if you drink water and within 15 minutes, you're still more hungry. Team, there are people who are asking how to make the payment. So can you please share these links as soon as possible? So Flo, we're going to show you that payment link. So how do you know whether you're hungry? If you eat, you're drinking water. Like, see, I have water. Let's say you feel hungry. You drink water. If 15 minutes you're still hungry, that's genuine hunger. You could also be emotionally hungry because there could be reasons why you're emotionally hungry. Emotional hunger, that is a result of whether you're stressed at home, stressed at work, stressed with your kids. There could be all those things where you're satisfied, but you find yourself eating. So that's how to identify real hunger. You're also going to feel your stomach growling, right? You'll feel, that's usually some hunger. And you'll even feel that there's usually, by the way, a pain that's almost associated. There's a pain that's associated with that hunger. So you feel like your stomach, there's some nodding happening with hunger. All right, Jesse, I hope that's been helpful. Emotional hunger, explain this. So emotional hunger is this whole aspect of emotional eating. Now, what is emotional eating? Emotional eating is when we eat because we have been emotionally triggered. Either we are upset, we are angry. By the way, some people also eat because they're happy. And what this does is because we are not willing to deal with the emotions and or feel what it is that we're feeling, we find ourselves reaching for food to make us not feel what we are feeling. We reach for food to temporarily slow down the pain, the emotional pain that we're feeling. But then what ends up happening is we end up overeating. And why are we overeating? Because we're already satisfied, we are eating enough. Whenever we're emotionally hungry, we are usually not eating or making the best choices of food in that moment. Some people reach for ice cream, some people reach for cake, some people reach for bread, mandazis, mostly usually high caloric, high sugar, high fat type foods. They make you feel good temporarily. But then what happens is the emotional issue is still there. So now you begin to deal with two complex issues. You didn't deal with the first issue, and then you've added food. Then what happens? A cycle begins. You begin to feel guilty. So that's what emotional hunger is. You're welcome, Jesse. You're welcome. You're welcome. Sharon and or Dorcas, can you guys please share the link? Awesome, awesome. Anybody else with any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, I see some questions coming through. Let's go down. Let me see. And thanks for the offer, which I will grab. Awesome. Dorcas, can you reshare that link? It's not clickable, so please get the right link. All right, there we go. So we've shared that link. And then Sharon, if you can share that on Instagram. There's people asking for that on Instagram also. Then the price is 1. I know you're going to see the price there, but it's going to be 1,000 bob. I want to make sure you guys have shared the right link. Dorcas, because the one you've shared is the old one. I hope that one gives the discount at the end. Yep. Okay, any other questions? It's going to show 33, you guys, but I believe there's Eric, want to make sure that it goes to 1,000 once they complete, because right now it's showing 33. The link for payment now, payment link only. And then share that on Instagram. All right, guys. Okay, I see Zoom user 2.6 liters. Good girl. So that's the amount of water you should be drinking. Awesome job. Awesome job. Do we have any other? Okay, let me go to Instagram. Instagram ladies, do you guys have any questions? How do you pay? Someone is asking how to make the payment. So Sharon, hop on Instagram and share that link. Someone is asking that Flo, share that link on Instagram. You guys, and this deal will only last until tomorrow, where you're gonna get those bonuses. I mean, it's insane. And you're gonna get, it's like a great course. It's on video, where I'm gonna be taking you through the things that you're gonna be doing, the steps you're gonna take over the holiday seasons. If you're bloating, what are the things that you'll do? It's like such a comprehensive class that I would not want any of you to miss out on this Black Friday offer that we have for you. So you guys, if you're on Instagram, go make that payment. The link, Sharon, if you can please share that link on Instagram, that would be highly appreciated. And anyone else, let me see if we have questions. Let me go through here. Oh, chapati. Is a chapati? I love carbohydrate. I loved it. Also, is chapati a complex carbohydrate? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a complex carbohydrate. Oh, thanks, Irene. Sorry, I can see you've tagged me that question twice. Yes, it is a complex carbohydrate. Absolutely, it is. Let's see. And so, what's the tagline, Sharon, for the link on Instagram? Kindly tell the IG ladies to send me a DM. So send me a DM, you guys, on Instagram. Do we have a code? Okay. Awesome. Let's go see. Any other questions coming through? It was mind-blowing. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate, totally see the value. Thank you. No, thank you for joining. Thank you guys for coming, for joining. I appreciate you all so much. All right. I don't see any other questions here. And so you guys, thank you so much all for joining me. I appreciate you all so much. As always, remember, you've got one life, you've got one body, and I want you to treasure it. Good night, everybody. Bye.